Time once again for another edition of Kaiton's Corner. Many thanks, Ray Otis. We are here at Scotiabank Place. 2 periods of play completed, the Hurricanes and the Senators. And it's time for another edition of Kaiton's Corner where you ask the questions. We answer the questions to the best of our ability. If you'll give us your full name and where you're emailing from, and any good question about hockey, and send it along to Chuck K. Chuck and the letter K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. That's Chuck K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. Any good question about hockey will be entertained, and hopefully the answer will be entertaining for you as well. Just send it along, whether you're a new fan or a veteran listener of the NHL and the Carolina Hurricanes, wherever you are listening to us on the Hurricane Radio Network, flagship at 99.9, and throughout the internet through NHL.com. At CarolinaHurricanes.com. Why do that, won't you? And we'll answer your question on a future second intermission. We have a youngster from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Evan Stancil, 13-year-old, who was, by my count, 11 when this occurrence unfolded in the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Edmonton Oilers. He says, I never fully understood the goal that got waved off in Game 7 in the 06 playoffs against the Oilers. Can you clear it up for me? And should it have been a goal? Good question. It could have been a goal, and probably should have been a goal. But the ruling that the National Hockey League gave was that Steve Staios, who was the defenseman who was in the crease, touched the puck with his hand, and as that puck was flipping and going over the goal line in midair on that jam up at the net, you got to remember there was a delayed penalty coming up to Edmonton, and it was ruled on the play that the goal was disallowed because possession was gained by that defenseman for gloving it down. Now, he gloved it down into the crease. There could have been an argument that he covered the puck in the crease as well or closed his hand on it. But I hope, Evan, that, as I recall that play, the shot was taken. It jumped up into the air. There was a mad scramble at the crease. Did the puck ever cross the goal line? And some people, there was not a good overhead view of it as well. Now, you would have thought with all the technology and the camera angles, NBC was there, CBC was there with Hockey Night in Canada. Obviously, they did not have a conclusive angle, either from the side, along the ice, right at the goal line, or overhead on top of the net. Nothing substantially showed the puck in the air completely going over the goal line before Steve Staios gloved it down. Now, the second question is, did he have possession? Because in the rule book, in order for the whistle to blow on a delayed penalty, the penalized team has to have clear possession. It can't just tip off somebody's stick anymore. And they clarified this last year with a rule change. It used to be that if the puck touched your stick and you didn't have clear possession, the whistle would immediately blow. And it's safe. If it deflected off your stick to Eric Cole in front of the net and he puts it in on the delayed penalty, the goal would not have counted in the old days. But last year they made it clear that the offending team on a delayed penalty had to have clear possession of the puck. So the question became, was gloving that puck down, touching it, clear possession? It was ruled that way by the National Hockey League because during the finals, they are in that video replay booth led by Colin Campbell, the director of hockey operations of the NHL. He's right on site during the Stanley Cup finals to clear up any video disputes because they do it in Toronto, overseeing the local video replay official in regular season games. But during the Stanley Cup playoffs, especially the semifinals and the finals, you've got the NHL eyes in the skies assisting the local video goal judge. So the ruling was that Staios, the defenseman at the time for the Edmonton Oilers, had gloved the puck, had possession of the puck, and that the whistle would have blown, regardless of that puck going in the net or not. Once he touched it, play was supposed to stop. And remember that officials can intend to blow the whistle, and even if that whistle doesn't sound and the puck goes in, if the intent of the official was to stop the play, that takes precedent over the puck going over the goal line. I know it's a little bit confusing, but that is how I recall that play, and that is how it was called. So Evan Stancil from Chapel Hill, thanks for your question. And I would say right now, I hope that clears it up for you, but don't lose any sleep over it because the Hurricanes ended up all's well that ends well. They did win the Stanley Cup, but a fine question nonetheless. So if you've got a good question for me, send it along to Chuck K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. with your full name and where you're emailing from. Provide that with your email, won't you, to Chuck K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. Chuck and the letter K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. We'll answer your question on a future second intermission. The Hurricanes will wind up this road trip Saturday night in Montreal, and that'll be the Canadian home opener. And after the exciting home opener back a week ago in Carolina, where unfortunately Saku Koivu scored a couple of power play goals, including one in the overtime, to take the extra point away from the Hurricanes, 3-2. We'll see if the Hurricanes can return the favor then. That's Chuck K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. With any good question about hockey, and this second intermission is your forum. I'm Chuck Kaiton.